So hi guys, as a victim of bullying myself, which happened mainly at primary school, I believe it's called middle school in other countries, I really sympathise with people that have been bullied myself, because it's obviously something I've been through. Now, I'll get to it. I got bullied at primary school. It was by mainly girls. It was the normal things, you know, like a push and I got pushed and I got kicked and I got things stolen. Like, I got taken to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when it was still at White Hart Lane, and I got bought Tottenham stationery. I took it into school and a girl stole it. And I'd also get left out of games because I didn't really have friends. So, because the girls treated me like that, I would hang around the other end of the playground where the boys played football. Now, I'll move on to maybe the worst case of bullying that happened. This was on a school trip that I went on to the Isle of Wight in year 6. At the time, I don't know now because it's a long time ago, but at the time this was a trip that every year 6 went on every year. So I went on it, and my mum was going on holiday with her then partner. I can't remember which way it was, but it was either the coach followed them down the motorway or they followed the coach down the motorway. But anyway, they had to turn off to get to the airport, and obviously we went on because we had to get on the ferry to get over to the Isle of Wight. Now, obviously the ferry ride, I can't remember what happened, but we got to the hotel where obviously the girls were put into a dorm and the boys were put into a dorm. Now, the dorm I was put into, a little bit of a story as to why I can't go on the top bunk of bunk beds. It's because I'd had a fit before and I'd been told by the doctor that it just wasn't safe for me to sleep on the top bunk in case obviously I had a fit, seizure, and I fell off and hurt myself. But so the girls were let know about this, and I tried to get everyone, not just one person, everyone in the dorm to let me have the bottom bunk, but they wouldn't. So I had to sleep on the top bunk. I think maybe this was the first night, I think. Obviously it's a long time ago, so I can't actually remember. But the first night I spent there, I had light shone in my eyes all night. That, obviously it wasn't alright, but that would have been marginally better if the next day we hadn't had a trip to the theatre where we were learning about, you know, like things like all the backstage things and all the lights. Obviously in the theatre there were flashing lights that we were learning about. So this then meant when we got outside the theatre after the trip had finished, we were waiting to get back onto the coach to get back to the hotel, and I collapsed having a seizure, and I got taken to the hospital, and it's mad how this happened, and obviously it's not very nice, but the girls, by the time I'd got to the hospital, obviously I had to be checked in and everything, between me getting to the hospital, me being discharged to go back to the hotel, they'd gone through my bag, emptied it of all of my sweets, my crisps, or let's just say my snacks, my drinks. And I can't remember, but I believe they used my camera as well. So obviously it would have been hard for my mum to get home because she was in the Caribbean, but my nan had been called when it first happened. She was working nights at the post office at the time, so they let her know and then they let her go home. She let my youngest uncle know, who's like 10 or 11 years older than me. She let my uncle know, my youngest uncle know. He got on the internet at the time, which obviously at that time the internet was still not like it is now. I believe it probably would have been dial-up in 2006. So he got on the internet and looked for ferry tickets to get to the Isle of Wight, and then they let my Gramps know. My Gramps is now not with us, but they got in the car, drove down to the ferry, got on the ferry and got to the hospital. And by the time I woke up in the next morning in the hospital, I woke up to them being by my bed. Now, I got discharged from the hospital, we went back to the hotel, and this is where we found that everything, all my snacks and my drinks and my camera had been stolen and used. So my nan, obviously, with me being the firstborn grandchild and the only granddaughter, she wanted me to go home. I didn't want to, so we came to an arrangement with one of the teaching assistants where I would stay in the teaching assistant's bedroom so she could keep an eye on me and make sure I was okay. So that's what we did. The rest of the school trip I was in the teaching assistant's bedroom with a telly. But should I tell you the scariest thing? Everyone sent me cards, including the girls that caused it. But when we got back to school after the trip, because obviously they had to let the school know, the girls never got in trouble for what they did to me and what they caused. So they got away with it. But yes guys, that's my story time of how I sympathise with people who've been bullied. So please guys, if you see bullying, please try and stop it, because you don't know how it's going to affect people. Thank you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. See you later guys. Bye.